After 19 years of marriage, my wife said, I still love you, but Ronnie needs me too. Ever since his wife died, he's been so lonely. We've decided it's only fair, I'll be with you 1 week, and with him the next. I'll be his part-time wife. I'm not asking for permission. I'm letting you know. She thought I'd not. She thought I'd accept her schedule like a fool. Instead, I let her finish. Then showed her what my version of fair looked like. The next week, she wasn't packing for Ronnie, she was begging for mercy. Let's begin. I don't remember exactly when my marriage stopped being about love and started becoming an obligation. But I do remember the precise moment it shattered. It was a Sunday evening, the kind of soft, quiet evening where families gather for roast chicken and tired conversations. My wife, Evelyn, had made her famous honey garlic chicken, something she hadn't done in months. She even wore that navy blue dress I bought her years ago, the one she used to wear when she wanted my undivided attention. That alone should have warned me something was off. She hadn't looked at me like that in years. And yet, I, Cole Hartman, Chief of Homicide for the Clearwater Sheriff's Department, failed to see the trap being laid under candlelight. The dinner started with laughter, small talk about our daughter Lena's upcoming college orientation, and me teasing Evelyn about the burnt edge of the bread. It felt almost normal until Evelyn gently put her fork down, wiped her lips with a cloth napkin, and looked me in the eye. I need to tell you something, and I want you to really listen, please. Something in her voice made my stomach clench, not fear, something colder, something I couldn't name yet but would never forget. I ran into Damien, my ex-fiancé, she said. My hand froze midway between the plate and my mouth. Damien, the man Evelyn had been engaged to before she met me. The one who dumped her to marry a corporate exec twice his age. I knew his name only because she'd whispered it once in her sleep. I never told her I heard. He's back in Clearwater, she continued, her tone too composed. His wife passed last year, cancer. We talked at the alumni fundraiser. Just talk. I nodded slowly, waiting. We met a few times since then. Coffee. Just catching up. Still, I didn't speak. I stared at her like I was watching a hostage negotiate her way out of captivity, calm, careful, calculating. I didn't plan for it, Cole. I love you. You've been everything. But I realized something I never wanted to admit, I still love him too. My fork hit the plate with a muted clang. Evelyn reached across the table, her manicured fingers brushing mine. I want to stay married to you, she said. But I also want to see where things go with him. Silence. Complete, horrific silence. She smiled gently as if that made it all better. I've been thinking maybe we could alternate weeks. I live here 1 week with you, then a week at his place. Just until I figure things out. It's only fair. I don't want to lose either of you. Fair. Only someone who's never had their soul carved out by the person they trusted most could use that word so easily. I stood up, not angrily, not dramatically, just quietly and with a strange sense of peace, like something had been confirmed that I didn't know I already suspected. No, I said simply. Cole, please, she whispered. I looked at her, the woman I'd shared 2 decades of life with, the mother of my child, the woman who used to cry when I kissed her forehead after a long shift, the woman who now wanted to timeshare my love. You want 2 husbands? I said, almost amused. But I was never one for sharing. She looked stunned. So that's it? No, that's the beginning, and it was what she didn't know. What Damien Reyes didn't know was that I was far better at tearing people apart than they were at pretending to care. I kissed Lena goodnight that evening like nothing had happened, then went to my home office, locked the door, and pulled out an old notebook where I had once jotted down notes on sociopath profiling. Except this time, I wasn't profiling a suspect, I was making a list, and Evelyn Hartman had just become my case. The following morning, Evelyn made me breakfast as if we hadn't sat across from each other the night before like adversaries negotiating a ceasefire. She wore a robe I bought her for our 10th anniversary, humming to herself as she flipped pancakes. Her calmness was unnerving. I ate in silence. When I was done, I stood up, kissed her forehead, and said, I'm filing for divorce. I like to do it amicably. Let me know if you'd like to go through mediation. She blinked, spatula frozen midair. You're serious? She asked softly. I am. Her face fell. What about Lena? She'll be heartbroken. I said, but she deserves to know who you are now rather than figure it out in therapy 20 years from now. That hit her harder than I expected. Good. I walked out, got into my truck, and headed straight to Sabrina Stone, the best family lawyer in Clearwater. She was a quiet but ruthless woman whose clients often walked away with more than they asked for. I'd helped her once with a stalker case, and she never forgot that favor. You want war or peace? She asked, scribbling notes. Peace that feels like war, I replied. Sabrina smirked. Perfect. We got to work. Meanwhile, Evelyn tried reaching out multiple times a day, texts, calls, even showing up at my office once. I let her sit in the lobby for 20 minutes before my secretary politely turned her away. She stood outside for an hour. I never went down. When Lena called that night, she sensed something in my voice. I told her everything. She went quiet. Tell me you're lying, she said. I'm not. I heard the sob in her throat before she spoke again. Mom wants to rotate husbands? Is she sick? No, I said. She's just selfish. Lena hung up. Later that night, Evelyn called frantic. Lena blocked me. What did you say to her? The truth. You made me sound like a monster. I said nothing. You're destroying this family, she screamed. No, Evelyn, you are. And I hung up. Weeks passed. The divorce proceedings began. I requested full control of the house until the matter was settled. Evelyn tried to counter by claiming it was marital property. Sabrina found the original mortgage paperwork. I had used inheritance from my late father as the down payment. Evelyn hadn't contributed a dime. It tipped the scales. But I didn't just want to win legally, I wanted to win psychologically. So I made a plan not to hurt Evelyn but to haunt her, to give her exactly what she asked for. I called her one morning and said, "You know what I've been thinking? I miss you. I miss us. Maybe we could try your idea, the week on, week off thing." There was a pause. Are you serious? I am. She cried with relief. Cole, oh my God. This means the world to me. I want to see you, both of you, tonight. Let's talk. We agreed to meet at her favorite wine bar, the one where I first asked her to marry me. This time, Damien came too. He looked smug, a man who believed he had outmaneuvered a cop. Evelyn held his hand like a prize. I want to agree to the arrangement, I said, but I need clarity. I want to know what I'm walking into. Damien chuckled. What's not to understand? We're both in Evelyn's heart. She gets to love both of us. Isn't that beautiful? I nodded slowly. Let me ask you something, Damien. If your late wife came to you with the same offer to share herself with her ex, would you have accepted it? His lips thinned. That's different. Is it? I smiled. Then I turned to Evelyn. And you, if I brought back my ex and asked you to share me, would you have welcomed her into our bed? Evelyn hesitated. If it made you happy, yes. Her lie was so clean, so confident, it almost impressed me. I leaned back. Okay, let's do this. For the next 2 weeks, I put on the greatest performance of my life. Evelyn came back to me wide-eyed and eager. I played the devoted ex-husband. I cooked for her, danced with her in our kitchen, laughed at her old jokes. We made love like we were 25 again. She melted into me every night like she was trying to forget Damien ever existed. And I recorded everything, every kiss, every whisper, every confession, every time she said she wished we'd never split. And when her week ended and she returned to Damien, I emailed him a private link to the footage. No words, just the video. An hour later, Evelyn called me, sobbing hysterically. What the hell did you do? He saw everything. He said he's leaving me. Then I guess you're all mine again, I said coldly. Exactly what you wanted, Cole. Please. I hung up. Let her weep. Let her remember what real betrayal feels like. But I wasn't done yet. The silence after that call was louder than any scream Evelyn could have made. She didn't call back that night. Maybe because she knew she'd already lost control. Or maybe because she was with Damien, trying to glue the shattered illusion back together. It didn't matter. My goal wasn't to win her back. It was to unmask her, to make her live in the mess she thought she could control. By the end of the week, she called again. Her voice was quieter now, raw. He's gone, she said. Congratulations, Cole. I didn't mean to hurt you, either of you. But you did, I replied calmly. Because deep down, you thought you could be loved by both and never lose either. You thought you were special. There was a beat of silence. I still love you. And yet you let another man unzip your dress while wearing my ring. She broke. I made a mistake. I see that now. Please, let's try again. Oh, sweetheart, I whispered, voice like a scalpel. We are trying again. The confusion in her pause was delicious. We're going to go back to the arrangement, I continued. You still get a week with me. You said you'd be my wife half the time. So be it. But now I'll define the rules. You want to continue? No, I said with a chuckle, I want to use you. Her breath hitched. I want you to feel everything I felt, the confusion, the rejection, the silence after 17 voicemails go unanswered, the ache when the person you share a child with says they want someone else and you're in the same bed. Cole, you'll come to me every other week. You'll do the shopping, the cleaning, the cooking, the wife duties you wanted to spread between two homes. But you'll only get me, and you'll never know if I still love you or if I'm just keeping you warm out of revenge. Why are you doing this? She sobbed. Because you turned me into someone I no longer recognize, and I want you to meet him. The next few months were a calculated performance. Evelyn arrived at my apartment every other Monday with her suitcase and forced smile. She cleaned my floors, folded my laundry, cooked roast dinners like it was 2010 again. She tried to reclaim something that no longer existed. I never said I love you. Never kissed her first. But I touched her, held her, made her laugh when I wanted. Made love to her like a man starved, then rolled away like a stranger afterward. It was war disguised as affection. I was the battlefield. She was the soldier without a map, and she was losing. Lena knew everything. I kept her close, gave her the truth in digestible doses. At first, she hated what I was doing. You were just like her now, Dad. I'm worse, I told her, because I'm not lying. But over time, Lena began to understand. She saw her mother desperate and unraveling. She witnessed the power shift, and part of her, the wounded part, quietly approved. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. Damien came back, not for Evelyn, but to destroy her. Apparently, he'd been fired from the real estate firm he managed. Word spread that he'd engaged in unethical conduct with a client, a wealthy widow who also happened to be the mother of a state senator. Damien lost his license, his connections, his lifestyle. And who'd he blame? Evelyn. He showed up at her apartment 3 weeks after being served with a restraining order by his former firm. Drunk, unshaven, screaming through the hallway like a madman. You were poison. He roared. You ruin everything you touch. She called me. I could hear the panic in her voice, the edge of hysteria that used to only surface when Lena had a fever. Cool, he's here. He's outside. He's screaming. I don't know what to do. You'll be okay, I said calmly. Call the police. I'm scared. I know. But I need you. Like I needed you that night. You told me you wanted two men in your bed. Click. I didn't go to her. She was safe. The police came. Damien was removed. But she knew then, for the first time, I wasn't hers anymore. Not even for revenge. That weekend, she came to my apartment early. No suitcase, no makeup, just a woman hollowed out by the man she thought would save her. I'm not doing this anymore, she said softly. I can't. I nodded. I understand. I still love you. I believe you. She moved toward me. Can we try again? I stepped back. No. Why? Because the man you cheated on is dead. Her breath caught. In his place is someone you made, I said. And I think you should live with that. I will, she whispered. But I'll never stop hoping. And I'll never stop remembering. That was the last night we touched. She walked out with tears in her eyes. No parting kiss, no promises, just silence. The kind of silence people carry for the rest of their lives. The weeks that followed Evelyn's final exit felt quiet. Not peaceful, not victorious, just quiet. A strange kind of emotional static that buzzed low beneath my skin, reminding me that I hadn't just won, I had ended something. I threw myself into work at the department. We reopened a cold case involving a triple homicide that had haunted this town for years. I spent hours poring over forensic files, security footage, and timelines, dissecting lies the same way I had dissected my marriage, piece by piece, until all that remained was the truth. My team noticed the change in me, sharper, more precise, less forgiving. You okay, Chief? One of the rookies asked one night after a long stakeout. I'm better than I've ever been, I lied. But the truth was this: there's a cost to revenge. It robs you of softness, of spontaneity, of the ability to look at someone and not calculate the odds of betrayal. I hadn't just punished Evelyn. I had rebuilt myself, brick by brick, into a version of Cole Hartman that didn't flinch, didn't love. Then one Friday afternoon, Sabrina, my lawyer, called. You might want to sit down for this, she said. What is it? Evelyn filed a civil suit. What? She's suing you for emotional distress. A pause. Stunned. You were kidding. I wish I were. She claims you coerced her into an emotionally manipulative arrangement post-divorce, which aggravated her pre-existing anxiety and caused significant trauma. I laughed, loud and bitter. Her documentation's weak. Sabrina continued, but she's banking on the fact that public opinion may be on her side, the betrayed woman who lost her way and was taken advantage of by a bitter ex. That's rich, I said. She wanted the arrangement. It was her proposal. I have proof. I know. But she's desperate. And people do insane things when desperation becomes their personality. Let her come, I said coldly. I'm not scared of what she'll try to say. She should be scared of what I'm willing to reveal. A month later, the hearing was. I scheduled a closed-door deposition to determine if the case had merit. Evelyn arrived late, looking frail and calculated all at once. She wore a beige sweater and minimal makeup, her hair in a loose braid like she was trying to channel innocence. Her lawyer, a smug opportunist named Calloway, tried to shake my confidence with a smile as fake as his suit. Evelyn wouldn't look at me. Good. When the deposition began, Sabrina was brutal, calm, composed, razor-sharp with her language. She presented timeline logs, text messages, Evelyn's original emails that described the arrangement as healing and mutual. But what cracked everything open was the footage. The videos I'd recorded with Evelyn's permission during our weeks together. Not for revenge at first, but to prove to myself I wasn't imagining the absurdity of it all. One clip sealed it, Evelyn sitting in my kitchen in a nightgown, smiling as she said, I've never felt this loved by both men. This is my dream come true. Silence followed. Even Calloway looked rattled. The hearing ended quickly after that. The judge dismissed the case. Evelyn's complaint was labeled frivolous and unsupported by fact. Outside the courthouse, she finally approached me. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? I asked. Lying, suing, or still trying to manipulate me? Her eyes filled with tears. For being the worst version of myself with the only man who never deserved it. I studied her. This woman who once held my heart in her hands and crushed it with a smile. You weren't the worst version of yourself, I said. That would have required honesty. She stood there trembling until I turned and walked away. Life didn't go back to normal after that because I wasn't the same man, and there was no normal to return to. But life did go on. Lena graduated that spring. She invited both of us but asked that we not sit near each other. Evelyn showed up in a modest dress. Her eyes red. I stayed 3 rows back. When Lena's name was called, she looked only at me. That was enough. Later that summer, I began hiking again. Joined a community group that did trail cleanups and environmental outreach. It wasn't about starting over. I didn't believe in clean slates anymore. It was about becoming someone new, someone not shaped by what had been taken from him. Then one night I got a call. Hey, Chief, came the voice of Detective Miles, one of my newer guys. We picked up Dom and Reyes. DUI again. You want to process him? I almost said no. But curiosity is a powerful drug. I walked into the holding cell and saw him, bloated, bloodshot, and broken. I guess you got the girl after all, he sneered. No, I said simply. I got myself back. You think you're better than me? No, I said, walking away. I know I am. 2 years passed. Long enough for wounds to stop bleeding. Long enough for the town to stop whispering about the cop whose wife wanted two husbands. Long enough for Evelyn's name to stop appearing in my inbox, my voicemails, or my thoughts. Or so I believed. I'd moved to a smaller place on the edge of clear water, overlooking the valley. Modest, quiet. I planted a vegetable garden, took long evening walks, kept to myself. The department had offered me a promotion, a political role downtown, but I declined. I'd had my fill of navigating people's lies. I stayed where I was, on the ground, solving crimes, solving truth. And then on a rainy Thursday evening, something unexpected happened. I received a letter, not an email, a real letter. The handwriting was unmistakably Evelyn's. It wasn't desperate or manipulative, not bitter or apologetic. It was simply titled to the man I almost deserved. Cole, if you're reading this, it means I've finally left Clearwater for good. Don't worry, I'm not coming back. Not to ask, not to beg, not even to explain. I've done enough damage to your life. I know that now. I've spent the last year in therapy. Really in it. Not the kind where you talk to feel better, but the kind that tears you open and makes you bleed truths you never wanted to say aloud. I faced myself. The selfishness, the vanity, the way I used love like a currency, something to barter with instead of nurture. Damien was never really the problem. It was just the temptation I used to excuse what was broken inside me. I thought I could love you both, but the truth is I loved neither. Not really. I only loved what each of you gave me. Stability from you, passion from him. But love isn't about what you get. It's about what you give when no one's keeping score. And I failed at that spectacularly. You didn't just survive what I did to you. You transformed it. You made pain your forge. And in some twisted way, watching you do that changed me. I don't want anything from you, not even forgiveness. I just needed you to know that I finally understand what I broke and why it was the greatest thing I ever had. Tell Lena I'm proud of her. Even if she won't return my calls. I hope she grows into the kind of woman who loves like you. Goodbye, Cole. Evelyn. I folded the letter and stared at it for a long time. No tears, no anger, just silence. But not the kind that came after betrayal. The kind that followed acceptance. That weekend I took a drive to Lena's apartment in the city. She had just started grad school, studying psychology. When I handed her the letter, she read it slowly, then looked at me. She really wrote this? She asked. Every word. Lena folded it carefully and tucked it in her bookshelf without a word. Then she hugged me tighter than she had in years. A month later, a real estate agent called. She told me a small house had gone up for sale just outside Clearwater. The owner had requested she contact me before listing it, said I might be interested. It was the house Evelyn and I had lived in together. The one she'd begged to stay in, the one Damien had overpaid for only to lose and split when Evelyn bought it out and left it empty. I drove out to see it. Same porch, same crooked wind chimes. But it wasn't ours anymore. It was just a shell, a memory I didn't need to chase. I declined the offer. And that night, for the first time in 2 years, I slept without waking at 3 a.m. from a dream I couldn't explain. Sometimes revenge is a flame that burns your enemy. Sometimes it's a mirror that makes them face themselves. But the most powerful revenge is becoming someone they can never reach again. That was my ending. Not a clean one, not a romantic one, but a true one. Because I didn't need Evelyn to lose. I just needed me to win. And I did, on my own terms.